You've seen India Today's breaking agenda-setting coverage of the Augusta scam. Even as the Modi government hotly pursues the VVIP chopper deal in the country, India Today has picked up inside information of another massive scam hunt being on. The focus this time, not helicopters, but two Indian Navy fleet tanker ships. And yet another Italian firm making us wonder on the connection between the two Italian firms at play and the former UPA government. Senior editor Govt has dug out this most explosive and exclusive news break that could be India's next big defense scandal. Indian Navy fleet tankers, INS Deepak and INS Shakti, that provide the Indian Navy's frontline warships with fuel, water and all other essentials while out at sea. But the deal signed to acquire them in 2009 is now under a massive cloud. A whistleblower naval officer still serving has raised the red flag on these two ships and asked the Modi government to investigate the deal with Italian shipbuilder Fincantieri. Top sources tell India Today that Defence Minister Manohar Parrikar has ordered a discreet inquiry to look into the massive allegations. And this big story, the source of which is a letter that's been written by a serving naval officer to the Indian Defence Minister Manohar Parrikar, who is understood to have launched a discreet inquiry into this 2009 deal, multi-thousand crore deal for two Navy tankers that are currently in Indian naval service. I quickly want to go across first to India Today's senior editor Govt, who's broken the story. We also have with us Commodore G.J. Singh, veteran of the Indian Navy, also Syed Zafar Islam of the Bharatiya Janata Party, because it's already become a political fight. But I want to go to Gaurav first. Gaurav, in very simple terms, the Indian Ministry of Defence is currently conducting a discreet inquiry based on a letter that's been put up by a serving naval officer. Isn't that right?
Spot on there, Shiv, because there are allegations that all these aspects, even though CAG pointed out irregularities in the Fincantieri deal for two tankers for the Indian Navy, all of these aspects were not gone into in great detail. In fact, I spoke to Vice Admiral Sheikh Sinha, who was Flag Officer Commanding-in-Chief Western Naval Command, when this ship, while coming into India from Russia, developed a crack in the hull and two 4-inch cracks on either side of the hull. He says he sought an inquiry. He never heard either from Naval Headquarters or from the Ministry of Defence. And that's one part of the story. The second part of the story, which is equally scary, is the fact that there are 240-odd sailors, officers and sailors on board this ship. What about their lives? Now, the Navy says the ship is completely seaworthy. But seaworthy as a commercial ship or seaworthy as a battleship is the big question.
Gaurav, stay with me for a moment. I want to go across now to Syed Zafarul Islam of the BJP. He's with me live as well. Mr. Islam, what's your reaction to this? These are very, very serious allegations. These are ships that are currently in service with the Indian Navy at this point of time. The Indian government, the Ministry of Defence under Defence Minister Parrikar, has begun a discreet inquiry into these very serious charges.
Shiv, I would not comment on the discreet inquiry initiated by the Honourable Defence Minister because I don't have much details about it. But having said that, the news which you have broke out, and it's a breaking news that the another scam, which actually is bigger than the Augusta Westland scam, is I'm not honestly surprised because UPA government had only one mission: to plunder the country. And instead of nation building, they were just plundering the country. So scam after scam, we had seen 2G, we have seen Commonwealth scam, we have seen coal scam, we have seen Augusta, and then another scam has come up. So I am not surprised. The people of India understand that the UPA government was actually on a mission to plunder the country. But I am very surprised. As long as they were cheating and they were making money by selling national assets like coal, everything, but they are compromising with the national security, something which I'm really, really worried. I am worried because then what else they have done? Because if they can compromise with the national security, then they could have done many
I
more
just want to
things
tell
and
our
it should be
viewers that
investigated.
we've also invited, a representative of the Congress party and who will hopefully join us in just a moment so we can get both sides on this particular debate. We don't take any sides. We only report the facts. I want to quickly bring in Commodore G.J. Singh. We also have a reaction, an exclusive reaction from Meenakshi Lekhi that I'm going to play right after this. But Commodore G.J. Singh, very, very briefly, does this sound like a scam to you? A letter has been written. Inferior grade steel was apparently permitted by this Italian company in 2009 by the UPA government, allowing an Italian firm to sell us these ships. And it turns out that they are pretty prone to damage, unlike any military ship. So you've got people's lives in danger as well. Commodore Singh, your take?
You see, first of all, I'd like to bring out here that, as you mentioned, that this particular, problem came into the notice of the Commander-in-Chief, Western Naval Command, Vice Admiral Sinha, and he had asked for an inquiry into the whole matter, because it's a very serious matter, because being even in, I would say, the Western Naval Command, Commander-in-Chief, the Western Seaboard, which has Karachi, our enemy with us, when that, the flag officer commanding raises a doubt or raises a point for inquiry, becomes a very serious matter. Why this particular inquiry was suppressed is an indication that there is something wrong with the hull of the ship. There is something wrong with the plating of the ship, and therefore, as the Admiral had rightly pointed out, that this could have, compromised. In fact, it has compromised the security, the lives of our sailors who are at sea, and it is unlike land, because the tankers like Deepak and Shakti are the lifelines.
So should there
to
be
the
an
other
investigation,
front.
Commodore Singh? Should there be an investigation?
Yes, there should be a thorough investigation as to why the inferior grade steel was used in the manufacture.
We've got breaking news already. We've got the first big political reaction. Syed Zafar Islam just spoke to us, and we've got the first official BJP reaction on the issue. The BJP has demanded a full probe into this warship scam that has broken here on India Today. Meenakshi Lekhi, Member of Parliament and senior leader of the BJP, has made an even more explosive allegation. She says it's possible that the same agents and procedures as the Augusta scam were used in this warship scam under the UPA government as well. She says similar agents could be behind Fincantieri as well as Finmeccanica. The BJP is alleging an even deeper Italian connection. Here's what Meenakshi Lekhi has said to India Today's Anindo Banerjee. Take a look.
And the quality of steel is much lesser than it is supposed to be, as not the military quality. And that's why when the rules were bent, Russia apparently backed off from the deal, which helped Fincantieri. Don't you think? Because even CAG flagged off this issue, but in spite of that, no action has been taken so far.
No, you must see the players. And if you see the players in Finmeccanica and Fincantieri are identical. The Augusta Westland also has similar kind of bidding and similar kind of players who were, because the industry which produces military goods are more or less same. So in the bid for the helicopters, we had the same companies, and there also Mi-17V5 is what the Prime Minister of the day travels in, and that's a helicopter worth, I don't know, 23 or 25 odd crore after negotiation, up to 30 crore, not more than that. And you bought a helicopter which on paper costed 300 crores. Similarly, and that's why, around that period, the military deals were getting sabotaged.
Ma'am, the reason I'm asking you this way, it is assuming huge significance, is that one of the tanker ships that was bought under this Fincantieri deal has suffered an accident, and that is why the questions are being raised about the quality of the steel and what was the exactly pressure, if at all. So why will BJP raise this matter?
I have no idea what BJP will decide on this issue, but I do have the knowledge of this subject, and whenever asked, we can take it up.
All right, so the BJP, they're reacting to this issue and actually putting a linkage between the Augusta scam and the Fincantieri scam, the alleged scam that we're breaking here on India Today. Well, it's not just the politicians and netas, even veterans who were serving at the time have taken cognizance and reacted to India Today's report. Vice Admiral Shekhar Sinha, who was in charge of the Navy's Western Command at the time this acquisition took place, has raised the red flag and said he has serious concerns about the manner in which the acquisition took place and the fact that inferior grade steel was permitted to an Italian firm.
The captain reported that he has seen some crack developing along the expansion joint on the hull. So we told him that he should keep a watch. We thought that her safe passage could get jeopardized, and therefore we got in touch with the naval headquarters and requested them to take the ship in at Lisbon in Portugal, which was not a scheduled halt really.
Also, Admiral Raja Menon, who's been a veteran naval expert, defense expert, who's been closely involved in how these stories actually play out. Admiral Raja Menon has also reacted to this story. Gaurav spoke to him. Let's listen in.
I have never come across a warship made of commercial grade steel. I don't know whether the condition was deliberately relaxed because it happened to be a tanker, and in that sense it wasn't a regular warship. But if the RFP particularly specifies a military grade steel, then there is no business for a commercial grade steel to be used.
The Indian Navy has also reacted to the India Today news break. The Indian Navy has put out an official statement in response to our news break on the UPA warship scam. They've said necessary procedures were followed diligently prior to the acquisition of the tankers. All approvals obtained before signing the contract. Minor cracks observed while the ship was on its way back from Russia probably occurred due to a combination of factors. So the Navy says that on its part, it went through all due process. Does this mean that there was some kind of collusion or some kind of possible corruption at the political level? Because that's what a serving Indian Navy officer has flagged up straight to Defence Minister Manohar Parrikar. I want to bring in Gaurav Sawant once again. Gaurav, just make it clear to our viewers right now. At this point of time, the Indian government, the Indian MOD, is conducting a discreet inquiry to assess all the very serious allegations that have been made in this letter. Does this mean this could become potentially a full-fledged investigation?
This should, according to both serving and some retired naval officers. Shiv, the CAG has flagged this. The CAG in its report said inferior grade steel was used in procurement of Indian Navy fleet tankers. Vice Admiral Shekhar Sinha, who was heading the Western Navy fleet, he flagged it. He red flagged it, in fact, writing to the Chief of the Naval Staff and to the Ministry saying this should be investigated. That's one aspect. The other aspect is, Shiv, after this, so Indian Navy had fleet tankers. Earlier, as you're well aware, Shiv, they were military grade steel. 2 tankers bought from Italy, commercial grade steel. A contract now for 5 subsequent tankers to be built in India. Once again, military grade steel is being used. So why was this concession made only for 2 tankers which were bought from Fincantieri? That requires investigation according to my sources in the Navy, and from what my sources say, once this complaint was flagged up to Defence Minister Manohar Parrikar, he now wants all facts on his table and then a decision will be taken, Shiv.
Zafarul Islam, how is the BJP going to raise this? I mean, it's your own government that has launched a discreet inquiry into these allegations, in the shadow of what's happening, politically as far as the Augusta scam. Meenakshi Lekhi, member of parliament of your own party, has made an explosive charge. She says there could be a linkage between what's happening in Augusta and what's happening in the Fincantieri deal as well.
Shiv, as I said earlier, that since you have revealed that there is a discreet inquiry initiated by Ministry of Defence, under the guidance of Honorable Defence Minister.
Yes.
So it would be unfair for me to comment on that because discreet is a discreet. And
No, but
I'm
what
not,
about the
privy to
linkage?
those
That's
information.
the charge by Meenakshi Lekhi that there's a linkage.
I'm coming to that. So, the other revelation you made, and that clearly indicates what my senior colleague Meenakshi Lekhi has commented, that there is definitely some method to madness in this transaction as well. And the more surprising, I'm really more surprised, the people of India understand that UPA government was a corrupt government and they were just looting and plundering the national wealth. But the people of India will really get surprised that they have also compromised with the national security, not only on many occasions dealing with other countries, but also in this case where you said that they have compromised in terms of the steel to be used for those ship. And that's a very serious allegation, very serious charge and serious issue which needs to be really investigated. And we will wait for the official information coming from the government. Will not make any.
Understood. We've got the first official reaction from the Congress party. Anand Sharma, senior leader and member of parliament, has reacted. We're going to go to that in just a moment. But I want to quickly bring in Gaurav for another reaction in on this. Gaurav, apart from this being an allegation of corruption, it has gotten a very emotive angle, a very emotive complexion, because there is the possibility and there is the suggestion that by permitting the use of inferior grade steel, the lives of Indian Navy men could potentially be at risk. So corruption equals the possibility of life threat.
Spot on. In fact, that was the point made by Admiral Raja Menon, Admiral Shekhar Sinha and Commodore G.J. Singh on the broadcast, Shiv, that this is potentially playing with lives of Indian sailors on the high seas. The ship doesn't have to be just commercially viable, it has to be militarily viable, because as you well know, Shiv, a tanker the size of INS Deepak or INS Shakti, they don't just store fuel, they store ammunition, they store torpedoes, they store other equipment that's required for the Indian Navy apart from just food. So that is where, was there a compromise? That needs to be investigated. There's another aspect that needs to be investigated here, Shiv, and that is, why was the certification of the ship done in Italy itself? That's something, again, that Admiral Sinha and some others are saying was never investigated. If Italy built the ship, the certification should have been done by UK, by Lloyds, as is the usual case. Why was it done by an Italian firm itself? The same person takes the exam and the same person is the examiner.
In other words, not just one favor, but a series of favors allegedly to favor Italian firm Fincantieri. These are very disturbing allegations. They haven't been proven yet, but they are in the matter of subject matter of a discreet inquiry being conducted by the Ministry of Defence at this stage. Let's remember that these two operational warships are operational. They're currently out there. They're deployed even as we speak by the Indian Navy in the Persian Gulf. And nobody is doubting the warships themselves, but the procedures that took place. And has India been shortchanged by allowing inferior grade technology in the garb of a defense deal for its sailors and officers in the Indian Navy? This is a big story. It's a news break. We've got political reactions in already. Anand Sharma of the Congress has reacted and said, we will not respond to selective leaks, and we are ready for any kind of investigation that should be conducted by the Ministry of Defense.